Good afternoon, Jason. I am Colin Chen, and I will be your assessor from RNA. Before we start, I'm going to inform you of your rights. Alright, so as a candidate, if you are not feeling pleased with the way in which the assessment is conducted, then you have a right to appeal. Also, if you do not perform above the competency mark or score, then you can do reassessment.
And the appealing is done with?
You can do that at your school or your institution. Alright. Any more questions?
No, that's fine.
Let me introduce to you our technical person, Atasha. Alright, so Atasha here will just be our technical person. She's an agriculturist as well, agricultural science assessor. But she will not assess you. She will just observe the assessment process. Okay? Yeah, man. So just be comfortable. Thank you, Atasha. Alright, so I'm going to give you this paper with the practical assessment and task to read through. And if you have any question, you can ask me.
Oh, okay.
Alright, do we have any question?
No, so far.
No questions so far.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the question with you. Alright, so of course, as I said, it's a practical demonstration, so you will do your demonstration of how to plant a crop by hand. Alright? Also, remember that you will sign this paper to show that you did the assessment. And also, at the end of your demonstration, I'll give you a feedback of your score. Alright? Alright, so let's go through the task together. Mr. Brown invites you to his vegetable farm. Demonstrate to him the correct way of appropriate selection, handling, and planting of sweet pepper seedling using the appropriate tools. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You are required to demonstrate the necessary steps, including land identification, land preparation, which involves clearing, primary tillage and secondary tillage, lining, measuring planting distance, preparing the hole, transplanting, irrigation, fertilizer application, and shading. Of course, you can choose a branch of your choice for the shading. Alright, also for doing your transplanting, you're going to do 4 sweet pepper seedlings. And you're also going to construct a 4 feet by 4 feet planting bed, flat top bed, to plant the seedlings on. Alright, so do you have any questions?
No.
You don't have any question. Alright, so I'm going to let you start your demonstration. Of course, feel comfortable. At the end, I'll ask you a few questions. Alright, and let you sign. But feel comfortable while you do the demonstration. Alright?
Okay, so first and foremost, I would have to select a land. My selection is here. Why? Because it's more sun prone. So when the planting is done, sunlight is essential to growth. And if you look at the ground, you can see that it's dark in texture. So more humus is here. So more nutrients is here also. And yes, I'll just do my clearing now and make sure that everything that needs to be out of the way is out of the way. Oh, of course, for clearing, I'm using a machete, of course, it gets things done quicker. I would have to use a rake for fine tuning. Bear with me for this rake, it's not so much. Bear with me. Okay, so clearing, as you can see, is complete. Clearing is complete, so we're moving on to measurement, measuring the bed necessary to plant. And the measurement for that is 4 feet by 4 feet, and of course that's a square. And the tool that we'll use for measurement is a tape measure. So I'll use some sticks to stick the 4 ends just to make the measurement accurate. Yes, I've chosen my 4 sticks for measurement. Okay, so for accurate guidance, you use this card to, go around each end of each stick to make sure that everything is accurate and neat. So guidance is complete. Right now we'll move on to secondary, forgive me, first primary tillage. And primary tillage will be done using a fork. We have to get the under nutrients at the top. A bit of fine tuning, you have to make the bed a little bit high so that if if rain falls, it does not flood. And the line have to move in a bit, so you have to make sure it's refined. Okay, so see that we have the accurate layout now, we can remove the cord line that is around. Of course, this was just here for guidance. So moving on now to secondary tillage where they do the refinement. And I'll rather do that with a hand shovel because it's way easier. The purpose for this is that because the plants are young, because they're seedlings, they need to take up the nutrients better so you can't have this big lump. And also the roots have to penetrate the earth so that they can take up all that nutrients, so it has to be refined so that all that process can be done. So once the refinement is complete, now we'll move on to the selection of sites to place the seedlings. We have to make holes and do other measurements. So I move back for the tape measure, and I also go for some humus, some manure, which we use to place inside the holes when we make them to place the plants in. Okay, so as usual, people just sometimes you have some people just plant, but it should not be so. You need a distance between planting, especially for the plant that is going to be planted today. Today we will plant some sweet pepper seedlings, and we all know that sweet pepper after they grow a while they spread. So if they are too close, then competition will happen for nutrients, and the sites that for photosynthesis will overlap. So you know that one plant will have more sunlight than the other. So we need to have a bit of measurement between each. Alright, so the distance between each plant is 1.5 feet each. So 1.5 feet row, 1.5 feet column. And yes, that will be done using this, the card line and the tape measure. Alright, so I'm going to make some distance in between. Let me get the card across. Okay, so I'm moving on to measuring the distance between where I'm going to plant. I use these two pegs to mark the area. So say I select here. This is where the first hole is going to be. And I select 1.5 distance between each so that they don't have to compete. And I select that now. I mark it also. Bear in mind, the hole has to be right below the card line, and because the plant doesn't have a large roottier surface, you don't have to dig too deep to place the plant in, okay? So I'm going to make a hole here and add the nutrients, which is fertilizer, which I'm going to use, and this is pure organic. So you know, need more than a handful of nutrients, so you don't put them too close to the root, so you put them around. So you don't put them in where the root is going to be, you place them around the hole. Alright, upon plant selection, when you're selecting the plant, you have to examine it. If you look at this plant, it cannot be selected because if you look something is eating here, so you place this in the soil, it will not grow. And you examine the leaves, also you can see that these are bitten, so they will struggle to grow. So you have to look for fresh plants. This is a fresh one. When you're handling the plant, you hold it from the stem so that the root will come up same time. When you do such now, you plant the plant and make sure the surface doesn't go below this. So when you plant, all from here to here is under the ground, and up here is not covered. So what they did for this now, you repeat the process to plant the other two. As I said, I will plant 4 seedlings. The tape measure, you get 1.5 feet from here. As I'm repeating the process here, I have to make sure that that plant is in line with the one that you're going to plant here. So I'm just estimating the distance from now. And I measure the other 1.5 in between. And of course that 1.5 will in line with the other plant. And you make a hole right below. The stick is no longer necessary, that was used for just a mark. Don't let go too deep. Make the hole right below. You add the fertilizer. Oh. Identify seedlings once again. I just take them both once. instead of to walk back and forth. So we are finished with the process of planting. Now we'll move on to irrigation. So of course I have my water. I'll make sure that I water the plant. I use my hand just to make it sprinkle. You can't throw too much water because you drown the plant. And that will cause the root to rot. Irrigation process finished. So because the seedlings are young, you have to shade them. Because when the intense sunlight hit, they damage the leaves. We all know that the leaves is the major site for food to create. So what I go ahead and did, I go ahead and got some branches. These are some apple tree branches for shading. So this is just temporary. You just place them until the plant matures. So I try to shade them from the sunlight, the intense sunlight. So basically these are just taking the damage for now. Until the plants can manage to take sunlight by itself. The major hit. So okay, this is the end of the planting process. Moving on, we're gonna clean up the tools. You know, get rid of anything that, just clean up the area and the tools.
Alright, Mr. Collins, I'm going to just ask you a few questions. Alright?
Okay.
Alright, instead of your hand shovel, what else could you use to do your secondary tillage?
The secondary tools I could have used the machete.
Alright, so that's basically it. Alright, I will provide you with a feedback on your score. So in a few minutes, when I add up your score, I'll provide you the feedback, and then we'll go to the signing of the document. Okay?
Okay, so at the site where we're gonna clean up the tools. Just make sure we get off the mud that was on the car. And the machete. The unsole. Okay, so the next process is to dry. Make sure they're properly dried. So they can be safely taken away without rust. Yes, and that is it for the method. And after this, I'll take them to the storage unit.
After adding up your score, Jason, I must say I am pleased to see that you are competent. You did very well. In terms of selecting your appropriate area for planting, you score full on that. Select the appropriate tool, you score full on that. Clear the field and refine to meet agronomical standard, you score full on that, among others. Alright, such as your shading, selection of your tools, preparation of the holes. Alright, so that was very, very good. Overall, you scored 92%, which is 69 out of 75. So that's 92%, and that's an A. However, area of improvement, I only have 3 years where I see improvement needs to be made. The measurement, when you were taking your measurement, you weren't that accurate at some point. Alright? So you got a 4 there. Adding of the organic matter, when it is fully broken down, you could add it in all of the hole, not just around it. Alright, so you got a 4 for that. And for the firming of the soil around the seedling, you got a 1 out of 5 for that. Alright, you should actually compress the soil around the seedling. You did not do that. Alright, however, you got a 92%, and that's an A. So congratulations, you are competent. And to improve your skills, you can just watch other YouTube videos. You can consult some other experts, and you can also practice on your own. Alright?
Okay, sir.
Alright, for other information in regards to your certification and so forth, we will call you. Okay?
Yes,
Alright, just as proof that we did the assessment, I'm going to ask you to sign. Alright, so I'm going to first sign and then you will sign.